Hey guys, so day 24. I'm almost through a full month, getting close, and not a whole lot happening today. I mean, work again has been extremely hectic. One thing I will say about being in India that they don't really tell you about is the difficulty dealing with stuff back in the U.S. while you're traveling. And a couple different scenarios. One, if you're following Facebook, you know that I've been fighting with my insurance company due to a medical bill I had in the U.S. right before I left. Back in April, I ruptured my eardrum and got an ear infection on a business trip. And by the time I got home, I turned around, went to the ER as soon as I got off the plane. And needless to say, Blue Cross Blue Shield is not being cooperative with me. So I've spent the last few nights up at 2, 3 in the morning local time trying to deal with those idiots East Coast time, because obviously they're not open 24 hours, so talking to them when we're up doing business is impossible because it's middle of the night there. So that's one instance. The second instance is getting anything shipped to this country, and everybody here wants what's called a KYC form. Know your customer. So if you're having anything shipped from the U.S., there's this long drawn out process where you have to fill out identification forms, who you are, what do you do, where do you live, proof that you are, who you say you are by driver's license, passport, your version of the Indian Social Security number. Sorry, it's late again. And even businesses. So I've got a package that has been stuck in customs now for about a week, and I can't get it out of customs because there's no KYC form apparently filled out for Kellogg with UPS here, and I obviously don't have one because I didn't know I needed it. So for the last 2 days I've been doinking with that, trying to get help, and again, doing things 9.5 hours ahead of the United States East Coast time is quite a daunting task when you're here, because again, to do anything during business hours, you're extremely late at night here. You can't do anything during the day because again, you're just so far ahead in the time scale. So it's been a little bit of adjustment trying to get stuff done, plus working on stuff from home, helping out. It changes the game a little bit when you're essentially working 20 plus hours a day between doing your job, doing stuff for the U.S., and then trying to get some sleep. It just doesn't really happen here. But it's one of the things they don't tell you about, traveling internationally for work, is that you still have responsibilities at home, and being an American citizen, you still got to do things on the U.S. time, and it's extremely difficult. What else is going on here? So, reading the newspaper here, they got some actually kind of cool stuff that they do. Problem is, the newspaper doesn't give you a lot of heads up. They expect everybody to get up and read the paper in the morning here because they'll post events, but it's stuff that's happening that day, that night. And by the time I get off work and finally get the chance to sit down and read the paper, it's like 20 minutes before an event, and they want you to register ahead of time, and you missed doing something. And one of the actual interesting events that come to find out they were doing here was having a season 1 premiere episode of Gotham dinner drinks at the local bar restaurant. And granted, the U.S. is already on season 2 or 3 of Gotham already, and they admitted in the paper that most people have already seen the first season of Gotham, but just this cool way to bring a bunch of nerds out and do their own little kind of miniature Comic-Con, screening party, I guess, for geeks here. And speaking of that, I cannot tell you the amount of people that I see wearing Superman t-shirts here. It's out of all the things that, is a big thing, the Nike sportswear, you see a bunch of Nike and Puma here. Superman t-shirts just everywhere. Guys, girls, kids, Surprisingly enough, they've got a pretty decent nerd culture here, but strictly DC. Like, you don't see any Marvel stuff, and it's kind of weird. Speaking of Marvel, another thing I found out is that India tried to launch a full-blown Disney store here, and for whatever reason, it doesn't look like it ever took off the ground. But they do a lot of their distributorship through major retailers here. And I don't know if I said this in one of my earlier videos, but Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is a huge thing here. Like, I've seen kids with little stuffed Mickeys and Minnies, and there's a Mickey Mouse stuffed animal in almost every single shop here. So quite interesting on how a country with essentially no real Disney presence, and I don't know what's on their TV, but I would guess that there's not a lot of Disney cartoons on TV here, that everybody is so fond of the mouse. So his reach is pretty global, definitely, and I think he's got his hands tied up here really nice. So outside of that, that's day 24. I'm going to come back with another video for day 25 here very shortly, and then I'm going to get all these uploaded before the weekend. So outside of that, subscribe to the channel, share the videos, like the Facebook page, and I'll be back with more experiences from Mumbai. Alright guys, have a good night.